Joe Biden doesn't have even a base to consolidate. It's falling apart on him, which means that the efforts to get Donald Trump arrested as some sort of last-ditch gambit to stop his election, those continue apace. AOC, the venerable intellect, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, who wears smart people glasses sometimes, and then when she's really, really into it, she puts them up on the top of her head like this. She says, the quiet part out loud, that they basically are putting Trump in a legal version of an ankle bracelet to stop him from running.
By the way, he's doing it in the South Bronx not to make a point, but because he's got court. And the man practically has the legal version of an ankle bracelet around him, and he can't leave the 5 boroughs because he always has to be in court. And so it is truly an embarrassment to him.
Okay, well, I mean, I understand that you guys would love it if he couldn't campaign. The reality is all that's backfiring, by the way. It is not actually going to work because people already have their opinions of Donald Trump. If Donald Trump reminds them of his worst excesses, it'll be a hard election for him. If he doesn't, he's going to win. That's just the way it is. Well, meanwhile, Bill Maher was on The View yesterday. Again, I just don't understand. They'll book literally pretty much anybody of a certain level of celebrity, but not me. I wonder why. Again, there's only one show in America that I truly wish to go on, and it is The View, because that would be a lot of fun. But Bill Maher did get to go on The View, and he said some things that offended the small minds over there. So he had a bit of a debate with the intellectual titan, Sunny Hostin. She was upset with him for using the word woke, and Bill Maher took her to school.
You used the term woke, and you said that woke is what was sort of ruining everything. And I know that you're...
No, I didn't say ruining everything. I said that's why Trump could get reelected.
That's why Trump could get reelected.
Yeah.
So the term woke has been, in my view, co-opted by the right and weaponized and bastardized. And so I was surprised to hear you use the term because historically, as you know, because I think you're quite brilliant, that woke is a word used by the Black community to note that we must be aware of social injustices.
But words
and
migrate.
So why is that a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing, and originally that was absolutely a great thing. Alert to injustice. Who's not for that? But words do migrate. Now, I'll use any term you want. Okay. Because maybe that is a word that's triggering, and so let's not use that word. I don't know, want to call it the super far left, but don't tell me the left
or maybe the super far right.
Well, he's talking about the left. Well, then
okay, but we talked about that. I mean, I think we agree about the danger of the super far right, and I can't say it enough. I think they're the bigger threat.
Okay, so his willingness to say to Sunny Hostin that you can call it whatever you want, but we're talking about the radical left. It is amazing how they then just attempt to redirect the conversation. Let's talk about the right. Okay, but the truth is that the super radical left, the woke left, is in fact a threat to the Democratic Party. If Joe Biden loses, he is going to lose because of that. He is literally going to lose because he has decided to cater to the radical left base. That is the point that Maher is making. This conversation continued.
Don't tell me that the left hasn't changed. Mm-hmm. I'm old enough to remember when it was the conservatives who hated the Jews.
Yeah.
Okay. That was a joke. But,
too dark.
Well, maybe it is, but it's true. I mean, if I had any doubt that I was right about the change that's happened in the left, watching people protest for a terrorist organization like Hamas, that straightened me up pretty quick.
Yup. But again, the Democratic Party, it is populated by two groups of people at this point. It's elites who believe that they can channel the passion of the revolutionaries to their own benefit. They can create gradualistic change through the mechanisms and institutions they have hijacked as long as they have the jet fuel of radical emotion on their side. And then there are the revolutionaries who just want to burn everything down. So the typical liberal elites are trying to use the revolutionaries as sort of a nuclear fuel, and they think they've built enough containment facilities. But what's been made very clear throughout this election cycle is they have not, in fact, created enough containment facilities, and the radicals are bursting out and melting down through the core of the earth. That is the thing that's actually happening right now. In America, we are incredibly fortunate to have brave men and women who volunteer to serve in the military. They dedicate their lives to protecting our freedom and ensuring our nation's security. These men and women voluntarily lay their lives on the line for us. But when their service ends, transitioning to civilian life can be really rough, especially given the current economic climate. That's why Pure Talk proudly supports the America's Warrior Partnership. Since 2014, America's Warrior Partnership has worked with tens of thousands of veterans in its quest to stop veteran suicide and help veterans and their families live the purposeful lives they deserve. You can join the fight. New customers who switch over to Pure Talk can make a one-time donation matched dollar for dollar by Pure Talk or round up their initial order at checkout. If you're already a Pure Talk customer, you can also make recurring donations by rounding up your monthly bill. Head on over to puretalk.com/Shapiro to make the switch. Choose a wireless company that shares your values and is half the price of Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile. Visit puretalk.com/Shapiro to upgrade your cell phone service to America's most dependable 5G network. That's puretalk.com/Shapiro. Again, puretalk.com/Shapiro. That's puretalk.com/Shapiro. Now, meanwhile, the press have decided the biggest scandal in America right now is not Joe Biden tapping the strategic oil reserve in order to lower gas prices or unilaterally just ditching whatever the Supreme Court says in order to pay people to vote for him as long as they have college debt, or completely setting the world on fire in the Middle East. That's not the biggest problem in America right now. The biggest problem is that one time that Justice Samuel Alito's wife flew a flag upside down. Be still my beating heart. So let's just be real about this. The Democratic Party, their fealty to the American flag is somewhat questionable given the fact that the President of the United States literally used the porticos of the White House to fly Pride Progress flags. And these are the same people who wish the U.S. Embassy to fly across from the Vatican rainbow flags. And they're like, oh my God, I can't believe Sam Alito's wife turned a flag upside down. Yeah, right, guys. And what they're trying to claim is that Samuel Alito's wife and Samuel Alito are Stop the Steal January 6thers. They have no evidence for this proposition. This entire story was about, apparently, a dispute between Sam Alito's wife, the justice on the Supreme Court, and another person in the neighborhood who put up a BLM flag in order to harass Alito or whatever. The media tried to claim that the upside-down American flag was put up as some sort of reference to Stop the Steal. But the reality is that pretty much no one saw it that way. Margot Cleveland, who's reported on this over at the Federalist, said, well, there may have been a few upside-down flags seen displayed during protests at the Capitol. Calling it a symbol of Stop the Steal is a completely concocted narrative. The sources that basically Alito's wife is a Stop the Steal fanatic, there are no sources on any of this sort of stuff. The Times' only source was a lefty PhD student at University of Colorado Boulder. Again, it's absurd kind of garbage. But they wouldn't stop there. They had to double down. So they found a time that the Alitos flew a flag, an Appeal to Heaven flag. Oh, no. The pine tree flag that has the phrase Appeal to Heaven. And apparently, they flew this one at Alito's house at Jersey Shore. Wow. Again, just shocking. That obviously is a white supremacist symbol. Or alternatively, it was a flag designed in 1775 by Colonel Joseph Reed, George Washington's personal secretary at the time, and was specifically commissioned by George Washington himself. It remains the official maritime flag of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Apparently, the flag slogan comes from John Locke. So, yes, it turns out that a lot of old symbols are connected with American conservatives, but that's mainly because the left has decided that symbols of American history are bad and need to be burned or torn down. If this is the best you guys can do, that Sam Alito is a threat to the Republic because his wife flew a flag, good luck to you in the upcoming elections. Have fun storming the castle, boys. Are you tired of the lies and the twists of the mainstream media talking points? Yeah, me too. Join me in my newest series, Fact, where I dismantle and bring truth to this tiring mainstream agenda.